Welcome to today's Insight Talk. We are the champions, no time for losers. A history of celebration, commemoration, medallic art. My name is Sophie Kromholz. I'm a technical art historian currently working on my PhD at the Glasgow University History of Art Department. I've had the privilege of working on Dr. Sally Ann Cooper on various aspects of the FIDEM exhibition, which you've been working on since about January. And it's to my great delight that I've been able to have a chance to talk to you a little bit about it. I'd first like to talk to you about FIDEM as an organization which is responsible behind the exhibition. FIDEM stands for the Fédération Internationale de la Médaille, or the International Art Federation. FIDEM was established in 1937 with the aim to promote medallic art at an international level and to make the art known, to guarantee its recognition and place among the arts by increasing awareness of the art. Most people don't think of medals as artworks, so with exhibitions like this we hope to promote it. FIDEM also organizes a congress every 2 years and an international exhibition of the art of medals in order to promote exchanges among artists who also attend the conference and to make their work more known internationally. So this show over here is the 30-second show featuring almost 1,000 modern art medals from all over the world. As you can see, they are displayed by country. Horizontally. Medals don't necessarily seem sexy, but they are. Why, you might ask? They're tributes to moments in time capsules of sorts. They ask us to take moments and rejoice, commemorate, or simply ponder certain concepts and ideas. Medallic art has been a more or less common practice since the Renaissance. It's in the Renaissance that the medal firmly planted its foot in artistic practice, and famed artists such as Antonio Pisano, known simply also as Pisanello, began working in this format. This practice slowly turned to tradition, in which medals began to be commissioned to celebrate achievements as well as to record events. Slowly they start walking along. Current dictionaries generally describe medals as small flat discs of metal used to celebrate and commemorate moments and persons. As this exhibition demonstrates quite well, the contemporary art medal is much more than that. We have as wide a spectrum of materials, ranging from the more traditional bronze casts, to resin, to glass, to more plastics over there, and ceramics, which demonstrate that a medal can be much more than its traditional dictionary term. We have as wide a spectrum as possible. All of these things are medals, but few adhere to the traditional understanding of what a medal should be. So what makes something a medal? This question rose time and time again as I was opening box after box, medal after medal, while getting ready for the show. What makes something a medal? It's something that my flatmate Kate, who's also here, and my friends have also asked me as I've been talking about the strange things that I found day after day. Most of these objects seem so different in every possible way, the only real commonality being that they've been made now by living artists and are to be shown together in a show of contemporary arts medals. The short answer to the question I found is, if the artist says it's a medal, it's a medal. But there are a few characteristics which can be applied to medals, such as the following. Relative permanence. Most medals are made more or less to last, to commemorate. So they have a relative hard form. There are a few exceptions, such as one of the medals over there, which is made out of a makeup compact, which has been carved, which was challenging to work with. Then there's also the intimacy. Medals tend to be a rather personal size. They're miniature art, if you will. There's narration. Medals tell stories. They're not blank canvases. They commemorate and they celebrate. They convey craft and a degree of artistry, beauty, or else a comment on beauty. Contemporary art medallic practice, increasingly, such as with the makeup compact, blurs the line between traditional medallic art practice and other forms of art, thereby letting a whole new range of possibilities flourish, which include opening up the different kinds of materials that are used and ways in which they are manipulated, and the ultimate form of the medal. Medals no longer need to be bilateral, metal, flat objects. They can be as well as the artist. So why is medallic art significant? Don't be shy. I think that one of the crucial strengths and charms of the medal is that it represents the time that it is made. In the case of all the medals around us, they represent the current time, but at the same time, all of these medals also represent an entire historic practice, whilst also carrying a promise of the future with their relative permanence. Most of these medals will outlast all of us here present. Medals are timeless. The anthropologist and ethnographer Claude Lévi-Strauss is quoted having said, "Objects are what matter. Only they carry the evidence that throughout the centuries, something really happened among us human beings." This applies perfectly to medals. They are the intimate creations worked on and held by human hands, encapsulating events and ideas, and as they are presented to us, they connect us to our history, our hopes, and our dreams, in short, to our humanity. It's this intimacy that I find particularly gripping. We often talk about finding and recognizing the artist's hand in the artwork. I find, with these medals and having worked with them, that it's my own hands which I'm most reminded of. Medals are incredibly intimate artworks, as they not only function as vessels to remind us of something, but as discussed by the artist Benedict Carpenter, who's showing over in the UK section, physically, the medal has a relationship with the hand. Even when it's not being held, a medal knows where it wants to go. This intimacy, together with a wide variety of possibility, makes medals so compelling. Among these works, besides the traditional, are a lot of really wonderful and neat and weird and unexpected items, and that's what art should be, all over the place, because life is. The first is over here. Do come close so you can see it. Number 30, which was made by the American artist James Malone Beach. Beach uses various materials in his work, most of which are relatively worthless alone, but somehow they become valuable in the final work. In a real Joseph Beuys-like manner, Beach plays with the idea of the magical and creates talisman-like medals. This one can be worn. When talking to the artist about his choice to work with medals, he said the following: "So this is how I started to do medals. I was teaching high school in a small town in northern Minnesota, trying to sell jewelry and not doing so well. I used to kid around that the only way my jewelry would sell is if it caught fish. So I started to play with the mysticism of fishing, and how these fishing lures don't catch fish, they catch fishermen. I made these statements in the form of medals you receive from athletics. This because I liked getting medals in high school and college wrestling." Beach looks fantastic in a kilt, for your information. And then a different kind of medal that I'm also particularly keen to showcase is that by Japanese artist Tetsuji Seita. Seita won this year's FIDEM Grand Prix, so we'll be moving across again.
Yeah.
Seita made medals 10 through 13. Please do take a closer look. The Grand Prix winner is chosen by 3 judges who convene and each pick their top 10 medals and then compare, making the final cuts on the basis of which medal they feel strongest about and the artist's overall style. One of the jurists had the following to say when selecting Seita: "He has a medal-a-day haiku approach to his art, which is very appealing. That plus the casting skill, which is evident in all of his work." You can tell if you look quite closely that all these organic materials have been cast from real life, which is it's a lost cast process, which is incredibly difficult to do. But all of the work, even though it looks organic, it has been cast from the organic, but it's all bronze, so it is actually quite sturdy. I'd like to ask each of you to take some time to appreciate the finer details in them, particularly number 13. And the combination of formal geometric shapes, such as visible in number 10, 13 and 12 in particular, the circles, the rectangles, the squares. And take your time and imagine what it would be like to hold it. Find where the petal wants to go. That is all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the medal.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. I think Sophie did very well. I mean, I myself struggled between the difference between medals and small sculptures. But I mean, I hope that, you know, I think Sophie did very well. This was a wonderful occasion to have it in Scotland. It's never been here before. It may never be here again. So please take a moment to appreciate these wonderful works while you have the opportunity, because they'll be coming off display on 19 August, and then we'll be packing them all up and sending them back to the artists. So thank you all very much for coming along today and hearing Sophie's wonderful talk. Thank you. And Museum Lunchtime Talk programme is every Tuesday in the museum. So same time, same place next week if you're available. Okay, thank you, Sophie.